Okay, so hopefully I can keep this to 2 videos. We'll give it a try. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other things before I get to actual stitching. Something that's floating my boat these days is the Naked Bee brand lip balm, and actually the lotion too. Wow, there's a glare. Naked Bee, it looks like that. It looks a lot like Burt's Bees. Their packaging is yellow and very, yellow and black and very similar to Burt's Bees, but it's the Naked Bee brand, and I found it at our local Hallmark store. And it sounds like a lot of people have lost their Hallmark stores, have had to close their doors, but we actually have 2 in Omaha, and they're both pretty great and lots of neat stuff. And I spend a lot of time at Hallmark. I love Hallmark. I love cards for one thing, and I do make a lot of my own cards now, but just because they've gotten so expensive, I kind of have a hard time spending $5 or $6 on a card. But Hallmark carries a lot of Peanuts things and, calendars, which I love, and I don't know, all kinds of things. So I spend a lot of time there. So anyway, they have a whole section of Naked Bee, and I was looking at it one day before Christmas, and a lady was standing there picking out several things, and I asked her if she had used it before, and she's like, oh, it's wonderful, you will love it. And she goes, it's a little pricey, but it's really good. And I didn't think it was that much pricier than Burt's Bees, but anyway, Naked Bee. This is this is Orange Blossom Honey Lip Balm, and there's no color to it. It's just very smooth. It doesn't, it seems to last and keep your lips moistened for a pretty long period of time. I'm a little bit addicted to lip balm, so I use it quite a bit, and it's so dry here right now, and I hopefully will have done this at the beginning of the first video, but I inserted a picture. It's snowing, it's cold, it's about, I think it's maybe like around 5 or 10 degrees out. I don't know what the wind chill is. I don't really want to know. I'm kind of over winter. By February, I'm done with winter. I really truly am. I was watching a new FlossTube person yesterday. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna forget her. I'm going to forget her. Oh, Stitching in the Barn. Stitching in the Barn, I think that's right. Carol Sublick Stitcher had talked about her, and as soon as I was finished watching Carol's latest video, I flipped over to Stitching in the Barn. And she had made the comment that winter, she really thinks winter's beautiful. Like, of course, spring is pretty and summer's pretty and autumn is all great. We all love autumn. But she really thinks winter is beautiful, and she's right. I find a lot of beauty in winter, and Ohio is just, I thought, kind of breathtaking. It looked a lot like Nebraska in some ways, a lot of farmland, and I kept, as Nicole and I were driving along from the airport to the state park, I kept saying, I could totally live out here. I could live in a farm, in a barn, like out that way, be kind of isolated. It was very beautiful. It was all snow covered and just sort of rolling hills and lots of trees, and it was really gorgeous. But right now, all the trees in the back are bare, and they're so gnarly, I think because it's been so cold and it's been so dry, and it's so barren. And when there's snow on the ground, we had 55 degrees and rain on Sunday, so we had like beautiful weather. All the snow melted or washed away, and so now today we have some snow coming back, and that's better when there's snow on the ground. But it's just so barren out there, and yet I agree, it is pretty in its own way. So okay, then I have this brewing. So this is a little project that I'm going to do for, so my oldest daughter Caitlin and my friend Gail mentioned to me that they would like to have a booth at our church's yearly craft boutique. And they both asked me kind of separately if I was interested in doing a booth with them, and I said, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun, and we could each kind of do our own things and have a few, each have a few things and not feel the pressure to have 8 million things, as one person. But I think we need to start now and start doing some stuff, and so we kind of were like, yeah, that'd be fun. And so Caitlin started pinning things and finding, recipes for things and instructions for different crafts, and she does a lot of string art and doing all kinds of things. And And then I immediately, you know, everything kind of went topsy-turvy with my father-in-law, and work has been super hectic and crazy, a lot of it because of how cold it's been. But it's just winter too. And so then I started stressing about it, and I texted her, and I'm like, I don't think I could do the craft fair. I'm not sure I can do this. I'm feeling pressure. It's not till November, so I mean, it's not like we're, you know, in a time crunch. But there's things I want to do for myself, and there's things I want to do as gifts, and, you know, so, but anyway, I have decided I'm just going to do a few things each month. There's a million projects I want to do, and I never get to it because I, you know, want to just cross stitch all the time. So this is some fabric for a little thing I want to do, and yesterday I tea dyed it. So I did boiling water in a couple of tea bags, and I threw it in. It's 2 different pieces of fabric that was off-white to start with, and let it sit all day, and threw a little bit of coffee in there, and then dried it and kind of damp dried it, and then hung it to dry, and decided today it wasn't quite grungy enough. And so today, as I was emptying out my coffee pot, I threw the rest of the coffee in there with some hot water, and I'm just going to let it sit for the rest of the day, and then maybe by the next time I film a video, I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. So then the other thing that I'm going to try to do, because I make these all the time, and I usually make them for myself and for friends, and for Caitlin, because she always likes them, is I think I'm going to do up crochet and knit and crochet up a whole bunch of sets of dishcloths. So my mom used to make these. This was something my mom always made, and my parents didn't have a lot of money, and so generally as we grew up and got older and got out on our own, Christmas from my mom and dad was usually something that my mom made, and my dad would cook. He was an amazing baker and cook, and he would cook you know, a lot of sort of Spanish type cookies and baked products, and you would get a box of like really yummy goodies, and then mom would make something, and almost every year she included 2 or 3 or 4 crocheted dishcloths, and you kind of get addicted to them. I find that I use the Peaches and Cream yarn from Walmart, or sometimes I use an all cotton yarn that I find at Hobby Lobby. I don't use expensive yarn because these are, you know, a lot of times they're going to be washing dishes, they're going to be in bleach water, they're going to be in, you know, whatever. My husband will take them and wipe out a spaghetti pan, and, you know, so I don't use expensive yarn, but they just, I like the way they feel, and a store-bought dishcloth doesn't cut it once you've been using these. And so this is my first set. So this is a new pattern that I found. It's a woven, it's called a basket weave knitted dishcloth. And then so I got several sets of this yarn where I could have one variegated and then one solid that kind of went together, and I think I'll sell these as sets. I have stuff to weave in the ends of this, and so this is and I think I'm going to do one knitted, one crocheted for each set. And then this is the crocheted one. This is like a puff stitch and a half double crochet stitch one. I've never used either of these patterns before, so, and then I have some standard patterns that I love, and I can make one up in about an hour. Well, I can crochet one in an hour, and knitted one takes me a little bit longer because I'm a slow, terrible knitter. And then the last thing that is not at all related to anything, and it's not even something I made, but it's just been crazy around here, and I've had to cancel so many like dates with friends. I'm supposed to have coffee with my friend Gail tomorrow at 4:30, and I'm just crossing my fingers that nothing comes up. I have probably canceled on her 5 or 6 times in the last couple months of, you know, we've tried to get together to walk and do, you know, have coffee and do different things, and something always comes up and I have to cancel. And so I have another friend, Tori, who is a cancer nurse, and Tori has 4 children. 3 are pretty much the ages of my children, and then she has one who's 7 years old. And so she is a very, very busy woman. She's a cancer nurse. Her husband has his own architecture company, and they're super busy, and we rarely get together, and she's just a dear friend. So we were supposed to meet at the basketball game last night, and then Maddie was home for a week in between J term, so she went back to school on January 7th and had 3 weeks of intense class. One class Monday through Friday, 8 to noon, and for 3 weeks. And it's a semester worth of classwork that you do in 3 weeks. It's called J term or January term. And then she had a week off and then went back yesterday to start second semester today. And so my husband had a game. It was the last high school girls game at the school, and Tori's daughter actually is on the dance team at Concordia, where my kids went to school, and my husband coaches. And so we had plans to meet up at the game, and the roads got bad, and we decided Maddie needed to head back to Sioux Falls earlier, and she couldn't wait until it got dark, and like she was kind of hoping to do. And so I ended up not being able to go to the game. And so my husband comes home with a bag, like a gift bag of goodies, all sorts of amazing things from Tori. But I just love this so much. She made this. She is a leader for Bible Study Fellowship, and she has, I think, 13 ladies in her group that she leads in her small group, and she made one of these for each of them at Christmas. And when we had ladies crafting night at my house and did some chalk couture, instead of doing chalk couture, Tori worked on these, and this is her own handwriting here, and then she used her Cricut machine and Mod Podged and decoupaged, and anyway, it's so cool because I put up all my Valentine decorations, and on my cabinet in the front, it's kind of, this cabinet is sort of more red themed, and the one in the front sort of has more pink, and this just is perfect out there. So I have this hanging on the little knob for that cabinet, and I love it so much. I had jokingly said to her, because I had considered joining that Bible Study Fellowship, and I had jokingly said to her, oh, if you get a chance, make me one of those. And of course she did. So I guess I was really only half joking. Okay, we're going to end up doing 3 videos because now I have stitching to show you. Okay, so I got all excited about Stitch 9, the Stitch 9 challenge that Michelle Rudy, Farm Girl Stitcher, is doing, and I knew this would happen. Inevitably I knew this would happen. I waited and waited to sign up, or I waited and waited to post my album, because I thought, as soon as I do that, I'm going to not want to do those projects. And I kind of talked to Michelle, and she's like, you have until February 1st, so even if you post an album and then you change out stuff, that's fine. You have until February 1st, and it's not like the cross stitch police are going to come get me if, anyway, it was, but I decided to do it. I got all excited. I found 10 projects, created my album, and then like mid-January, and then thought about it for 2 weeks, and I don't want to change. I still want to do that. I still want to do that. I still want to do that. And then I am not kidding you, at 12:01 on February 1st, I'm like, I don't want to do any of those projects. So I don't think I'm going to do the Stitch 9 challenge. I mean, I have an album out there, but I don't think I'm going to do that. However, I finished one, and I FFO'd it, and I don't have it here. It's packed away. It was the paper snowflakes Brenda Gervais pattern that Michelle had gifted me for Christmas, and I finished it. I started it on a Saturday, and I finished it exactly 2 weeks to the day. And then I am just about finished with project number 2, but I ran out of floss. And so project number 2 was a stitch along with Jen from Jen's Stitching Niche, and it is Brick House Sampler, yet another Brenda Gervais. And I am doing this on a piece of hand-dyed fabric by Teresa Vignette Kitten Stitcher, and I did not save. That makes me so angry because I meant to save that. I didn't save what this fabric is called, but it has some funny name. And so here is Brick House Sampler. It's all finished except that I ran out of the olive floss that goes in here and is also down here, and then I have to finish off that vine down at the bottom. But I got tired of working on that vine last night. I did almost the whole vine on the left-hand side last night, and I just got tired of it. I have that floss on order because I didn't know if I'd be able to get out to Reflections today. You know what? I'm at 15, so I'm gonna go to the next video.